Today I'm sitting down with Jordan of CCV Music. We're diving deep into their latest EP and their singles. You don't want to miss this one, so let's get rolling because Kingdom Builder starts right now.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Bodie.
This is Shanae.
Hey, this is Jamie McDonald.
What's up? I'm Laverdier.
What's up, y'all? This is Seth Schleter.
Hey, what's up, family? This is Jeremy Rosado, and you are tuned in to Kingdom Builder. Listen, I am so excited for what God's doing in this season. You can check out Kingdom Builder if you're listening or watching. It's an honor to be here to be a part of this. Keep checking my family out and check me out wherever you listen to music.
No more tending, no graves. Death can't have tomorrow, no. When his grave's still hollow.
Welcome back to Kingdom Builder. I'm Mike Laxton, and today I'm thrilled to welcome Jordan of CCV Music. Their deluxe edition of Hollow has been on repeat for me, especially with that powerful message that the grave's still hollow. They also have released a new single, Bad Weather, this past July, and a newer single coming out August 22nd called Nothing But Good. So let's welcome Jordan from CCV Music. Jordan, welcome in.
Thank you, Mike. It's good to be with you.
It's good to have you on. I've definitely been enjoying what I've heard so far, especially some tracks from the EP you released, that deluxe edition here about a month or so ago. So we'd love to get into the music, but just so that we can introduce people to who CCV Music is, for those who might not know, can you kind of introduce yourself as well as the group and kind of the heart behind the ministry?
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me and representing our crew. We are a creative conglomerate from Christ Church of the Valley in Phoenix, Arizona, a multi-site church. And we are the music resourcing part of our church. So we get to put prayers to melody, telling the stories of what it is that God is doing in our house and releasing those to try to inspire and encourage people in the kingdom around the world to be able to share in those prayers that are set to melody, those songs that we're singing. And so I've been on staff here at the church for about a decade, getting close to a decade. And we've been putting out music for about that same amount of time, going back all the way to, I think, 2015 was our first live album that we released. So literally 10 years ago this year that we did our first live album.
Well, that's awesome. And I know that being a conglomerate, CCV is also one of the largest churches in the country there with, from what I remember, tens of thousands attending each weekend. So how would you say that being such a large, membership and congregation, how that shaped the sound and vision of CCV compared to maybe other worship collectives?
That's a great question. I think that something that it's done is we have a very diverse group of people who are helping speak into what it is that we're singing. Our campuses in the same city can look so different depending on where the campus is, with the socioeconomic place of the campus itself, the worship pastors that are at the particular campus, the congregants at that campus, and the staff. And so that gives us this beautiful melting pot of varieties of genres, of backgrounds and experiences to help us really try to be able to have some unique perspective in what it is that we're singing and the way that we're doing it to inspire our church. One thing that we talk about is that we get to, in worship music, really be a part of take-home theology for our church. Mm-hmm. When you learned your ABCs, you didn't just recite them, you sang them. And so singing, when you attach theological truth to a melody, it just sticks with you. And so we want the prayers from Sunday to be the anthems for people on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And so we try our best to really take in the prayer. What is it that God is speaking to us? What is it that the story that we're hearing has come in as? And how is it that we want to be able to sing that in a way that our congregation will be inspired to listen and to sing?
Earlier this year, you released the original Hollow EP and then expanded it to a deluxe edition, including some acoustic versions, which, again, I particularly love, and even a new edit of the song Rolled Away. So can you kind of expand on what inspired you to kind of grow that project so quickly and release that within literally a couple of months of each other?
Totally. So in our process, we have a somewhat of a large team. And so we actually get together every 2 weeks for a music team huddle. And a part of that music team huddle, we do 1 week, we'll do a group songwrite. So we'll come into the room together, and for an hour of every other Wednesday, we will say, hey, here's a topic, let's go write about it. And then at the end of that hour, we'll come back together and we'll share what it is that we wrote in that time. And it's really raw, and vulnerable, which we found is really healthy for our culture to just have that shared vulnerability. Not everything has to be a perfect demo. And so you have a person at a piano or an acoustic, and they're just singing what they've written to that point. And then the other time that we get together, we do what we call song share, where we sit around in a circle and we share together in that same setting, piano and acoustic, some songs that we've been writing. And it just allows us to be able to share what it is that God's been putting on our heart, inspired by what we've been reading in the Word, prayers that we've been praying in our own lives, or stories that we've heard from our congregation. And that setting, the piano and the acoustic, is the most simplistic form of a song. If a song is good when it's just a vocal and one instrument or two instruments without all the bells and whistles around it, then that's always the test of a song that's gonna stand. And so we've just really fallen in love with being able to, if we can sing it with the full production, if we whittle it down to an acoustic and a piano and some vocals, does the song still stand? And what we have found is that that's just a fun exercise for us. And when we were playing these songs from the Hollow EP acoustic, we were just like, man, we need to release that version too. What the girls were doing vocally with the Hollow version, and the way that Wolves, a song on that EP, can sound completely different whenever you take away the Southern rock roots of it and you just let it be an acoustic song. The messaging of the song even seems to shift slightly and hold a different place. And so we just decided, you know what? Let's release the full one first, and then let's give people an option to be able to hear these acoustic, as well as our goal is to be a resource to the church at large. And not every church has the ability to be able to do the full production with all the Ableton stems and everything. But a lot of churches have the capacity to just sing a song with an acoustic and a piano. And if we can present that as a resource to the church, then that's really near and dear to our heart as well.
You mentioned specifically the Hollow version, which the stripped down version of Hollow was my absolute favorite. The first time I heard it, I got goosebumps. I still get goosebumps just thinking about it. Just the very beginning, where the girls are going in on that, and just with Hollow, and it is totally different than the original version. Like, I encourage everyone, go on to your streaming, whether it's Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever. Take a listen to I think the acoustic one first, and then listen to the production one. And I'm a sucker for acoustic music. I think that's probably why I love worship music so much, just because at the core, like much of my fond memories of worship is with just a guitar or just a piano. And I think that you do such a great job of doing that. And it's almost like you're adding an entire whole new set of songs, because even though they're lyrically are the same, there's two completely ways of putting it. So just want to applaud you guys for that. I love what you guys are doing there, and that resource you're providing for churches. It's great, because it gives them, a lot, like you said, a lot of them don't have that capability of even the songwriting. They just, all they need to know how to do is lead worship, and you provide them with the resources, and there you go. We've got a great variety of selection there. So thank you. One of those songs that's on that EP is called "Rolled Away," which you may gather from the name, but it's very much an Easter anthem. So I know that was sung across all of the CCV campuses. What was it like to kind of witness that, and how does that acoustic version change that experience? I mean,
to be able to stand on a stage or be in a room on Easter Sunday and just sing the words, "Rejoice, rejoice, death is defeated. Rejoice, the stone was rolled away." And then, to have the line, just he's still rolling stones away, because we do believe that he's breathing. The bridge is saying that he's breathing, and just those lyrics that allow us to just have to live with the reality and put that at the forefront for us. Whenever we sing on these songs on Easter, it's not just a song for Easter; it's a song for every day. And the living Christ is with us, and it's just a good thing to be able to do. And so it's powerful on Easter morning, because everybody's kind of amped up already, and whenever you really break into that chorus, it was really special. And the acoustic version of that song just, I think, further reinforces the theological content that is in that song. The team that wrote that did such a good job with rich imagery and really, really clear through lines in their thinking, to just really throw that chorus to a place of high praise. just to rejoice, because we get to sing to a God who sent his only son, and that resurrected King is breathing and he lives again.
It's a great message, of course, obviously, one that we live by, like you said, a day-to-day basis, just that, because he's alive. He's alive in us, he's alive through us, he's alive and around us at all times. So it's a great to resonate on that. So with this particular deluxe edition with Hollow, and even your other new tracks that you have out and coming out here, what would you say maybe some key artistic influences as far as the worship sound that CCV draws? Of course, you have a very wide variety of people. So if you can name a few, what would you think?
I mean, oh goodness, that's a really good question. I'll tell you one thing. We love all different types of music, and so it really does range from. We were just talking about earlier a couple weeks ago about being inspired by a James Taylor song, inspired by John Denver, obviously inspired by Coldplay and U2, and all of the all of the greats, Garth Brooks, current country music. So much of what's happening in music, as well as I could go back and show you my first cassette tapes, a George Strait cassette tape that I had in the early 90s. We are all getting inspiration from lots of different artists, and it's not all Christian. In fact, one of the things that we try to do is to be students of music in general. And what we found is that if we're listening to worship music only, then what we are creating will start to sound more like all the other things that are being created. And so we're trying to walk that line as best we can, but trying to be inspired by lots of different artists in lots of different genres all the time.
No, I would definitely agree that definitely kind of sets you apart for sure. Having that variety, and again, it could draw other people who may not be into worship music. Normally, it'll draw them in. It's like, hey, what's this sound? Sounds like something else I know. So great. It's good that it's just outside of actually all the references. I believe you mentioned were non-Christian references. So it's actually good to hear that it's just like you said. Having grown up with lots of different variety of music myself. Recognize all those names you've mentioned. It's I think it definitely adds to the flavor, I guess if you want to call it, that CCV music has. But
I would just say this: we are so appreciative. Like, we love so much Bethel and Mav City and Elevation and Passion, and so many people have put out. We use their songs in our churches. I mean, we're so grateful for what those guys are doing. And so it's not a slant at all. We're also inspired by some of the stuff that they're doing too. But the inspiration comes from all over the place for us.
No, absolutely. Yeah. It's definitely, it's good to have the nice variety there for sure. But so let's talk about the single that came out in July, Bad Weather. Can you kind of share a little bit of the story behind that song and the message and how that kind of connects to the Hollow EP?
Yeah. So Bad Weather is, if you're listening, stylistically, and you listen to the Hollow EP and then you listen to the deluxe version, then Bad Weather is kind of like whoa, what just happened here? It's a little bit of a turn stylistically for us, and is an example of what we literally just talked about. I think that we had references that were not in line with some of the references that we had for the Hollow EP when we did Bad Weather. Bad Weather is a song that was started by a guy on our team named Ben a couple years ago, and the content of that song is heavy in nature. That the first line is, "My God, I'm shaking like a leaf, praying that this storm passes over." And so it's a real cry out to the Lord. But the chorus really turns and says, "God, I know that, but here's what I know about you: that in bad weather you cover me, and I find shelter under your wing. So whatever the storm may bring, I'll find shelter under your wing." And that derives from the Psalms, from Isaiah as well. And so really a fun summer way to be able to sing that prayer in a way that's hopeful, and in a way that says, God, even though things might not be looking the way that I want them to right now, you're the same God in the midst of the storm as you are in the sunshine. That the bridge says, tally up each time you've been steady through rain and wind. I count on you again. And then it just has the line 11 times out of 10, which is a part of the testimony of our senior pastor and his wife and their family, and some health things that they had been through. And so that was kind of a phrase that our church had been hearing from our senior pastor and from his wife, and them sharing their story. And so to be able to weave that into the song as such a statement of that bridge was really important for us.
We got another song coming out here on the 22nd of August called Nothing But Good. So again, think of the title. All right, bad weather was maybe a little bit more vaguish. You kind of think, okay, well now he's the same no matter what the weather is, what the condition, but even through the bad, he's with you. Nothing But Good. What can we expect from that new song that's coming out?
Nothing But Good is man, it's a really honest prayer. Just really telling God, I know that you've heard every single prayer that I've prayed. And I'm sitting on this side of what it is that you're maybe you're in the middle of doing something in my life that I've been hoping for. Maybe I'm on the side where I haven't seen the breakthrough yet, but I'm trusting that based on who I've known you to be, I know that you will be nothing but faithful, and you will be nothing but good, no matter what it is that lies ahead of me. And it really is a song of recognizing who God is and who he's been, and gratitude for that, as well as a song of surrender for the moment, whatever that moment might be. It might be the highest moment of your life. You're in your best place. You might be in the lowest place. Regardless, it's good to be reminded that God has been nothing but faithful and nothing but good to us. And that's really the crux of the song.
It's a good reminder, like you said, to remember that in everything he does, although we may run through that struggle, there's a reason behind it, and God is still going to be good. Like it says, God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. So
that's right.
It goes well with that. So looking a little bit more personally, so as the kind of the music director and head of production there at CCV with the music and such, was there a particular moment during the writing and production process of either the Hollow, the Deluxe edition, or even these particular singles that kind of hit you in a personal and fresh way?
We have such a good team of people here. I'm inspired by the people that I get to work with almost like daily. I'm inspired by their creativity, by their desire to put others above themselves and collaborate. And it can be a tricky thing sometimes to create open-handedly, because you're bringing these ideas and they can be vulnerable, and they can be, or prayers that are just really close to your heart. And you're bringing them into a room and inviting people to critique the thing that you've been living, to critique the prayer that you've been praying, or this melody that you feel like has come from such a deep place within. And so it can be really vulnerable, and it can be easy to hold tightly to ideas. And we have such a culture of collaboration here that I'm inspired as we keep growing, as we keep writing and producing more music. I'm inspired more now than ever, more excited. And I feel like the fire is hotter within me more now than ever to continue to create and find ways to pray these prayers in a way that's going to be meaningful on a Sunday morning for a congregation to sing corporately, as well as be able to listen to and really relate to on a Tuesday in the middle of their day. And so that I'm feeling really excited. One thing that we're working towards is actually a brand new live album that we are going to record in February of next year. And so I literally just came from a meeting where we were sitting down and doing a listen through of songs to come. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get those songs rolling and to get those out for people to be able to hear, because I really, really have an expectation of what God, I really believe, is going to do through those.
Well, if it's going to be anything like what we've heard so far, I'm already excited about it. Just hearing what you guys have put out, and this is me not having heard anything else in the previous nine or so years. So coming as a new listener myself, you've been around a while, but so I'm very delighted to hear what's coming out, and that you're working on live albums. And I've said before, live worship albums for me are on the top. If I have to choose between a live version and a produced in studio version, I'm live version almost 100% of the time, just because it just sounds different, has a different level of atmosphere, and it makes you feel like you're there in person too. And I think that adds to that flavor in the message as well.
Yeah.
So looking overall of what you've put out so far, but again, between Hollow and maybe these other, Bad Weather and your newest single coming up, Nothing But Good, what would you hope that listeners would take away from the music that you put out so far?
Man, that's a good question. I've actually not thought about it at 30,000 feet like that before. I think in this season, one thing that we're really hopeful is that people would take away the nearness of the Lord, that they would know that God is with you in the seasons, good and bad, high and low, that the reality of the resurrection really, really does have the power to change everything in our perspective of what it is that God is doing in the season, and that his nearness to us is not predicated on our circumstances. He's near to us in all of it, in the good and in the bad and everything in between. And I think in a world that it just feels like it can be unstable at times, a little shaky, to have the stability and the foundation of a good God in the midst of all of that, the one who put the moon in its place and told the ocean where it could stop, that's enough. The one who told the sun when it's going to rise and when it's going to go down is the same God who's with you in the midst of your storm, and the same God who's with you and helped you get to this mountaintop experience of your life. And he desires to be with you. And he desires for you to know that he's with you. So I don't know. I think that that's something that we're just kind of in right now, and we're hopeful that people take that away when they listen to these songs.
Well, that's definitely a good thing to hope for sure. That this God, this Almighty God who has done all these things, he still wants that personal relationship with us, and wants us and loves us so much that he gave his son to die for us. So it's a great message to have, and of course one that we would hope to expect from any music that's put out. But again, we want to thank you, for what you're doing there at CCV. And before we close out, I have one more question, kind of a fun one for you.
Okay.
If you weren't making music with CCV or doing anything you do there at the church, what do you think you'd be doing right now? What would be your other option?
Oh my gosh, what a question. Man, I'd probably, I don't want to admit this, but I think I would probably be in the food business. I love food. I love food so much. I can't imagine not doing what I'm doing. First of all, I'm so grateful for what I get to do, but I really, really I think actually food business is kind of, can be a little bit of a sibling or a cousin to what it is that I do here at the church. A part of dishing something up for people and, getting the opinions of people, whether they like it or not, as well as, being able to help create something that is hopefully nutrient, and helps people grow in a healthy way. But I love food so much. I'm a foodie, and I think I'd probably be in food, whether it's a restaurateur. I don't know. I might just be happy just waiting tables or working in a kitchen, but I think it'd probably be food for me.
Okay, all right, I can get that. And I mean, instead of serving up food, you're serving up the Holy Spirit. So there you go. You've got that all situated there. But Jordan, thank you so much for just taking some time with us today here on Kingdom Builder, for sharing us, of course, your heart and the heart behind the music. We do appreciate it. Of course, we look forward to hearing what you've got coming out here. You said next year as you start recording, and we just look forward to seeing the future of CCV.
Thank you so much, man. Thanks for having me.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, share, and comment below. You'll find links in the description to connect with CCV Music and explore their Deluxe Hollow project, plus the singles Bad Weather and Nothing But Good. And until next time, this is Mike Laxton reminding you to keep Christ first in your lives, and everything else will fall into place.